Hello, everyone, and welcome to another week of Live After SmackDown Live. I am Tonya Rodgers, and I'm here once again with Fizzy. And although I love Fizzy, baseball has taken Andrew away from me. But he will be back whenever this nonsense is over, hopefully. And I can't wait until that happens. So, tonight, we are going to talk about SmackDown Live first, then move on over to Raw. So, SmackDown starts with the recap of what happened the past 2 weeks between the WWE Champion AJ Styles and the man with two hands, James Ellsworth. Dean Ambrose has pretty much cost the man two wins. The first one was a pin, actually, where Dean was the ref. And last week, AJ Styles was so upset that he beat the hell out of Ellsworth and got disqualified. Um, that set up a match tonight between Dino and the champion. And if Dean were to win this match, this is non-title match, he will become the number one contender for the WWE World Championship. And Stowe starts off with Ellsworth pretty much saying, "Hey, buddy, I'm so happy, Dean, that you supported me and all of this, that I just want to help you back. Trying to help you." So he pretty much begs Dean to come accompany him to ringside for this match. And this match was great. I loved it. I'll get into greater detail in the review, but really enjoyed it. And what had happened was AJ was picking on James.
Picking on him,
And
he basically beat him to a living pulp the entire time that he was in the match. When he wasn't working on Dean Ambrose, he was beating up James Ellsworth. It was basically a handicap match without the designation of it being a handicap match.
And so, but see, that explains that Ellsworth got a little ahead of himself. You know, them bright lights, and you on the big stage and everybody cheering you on. So he kicked AJ Styles in front of the referee, and Dean Ambrose got disqualified.
Leading to the best Dean Ambrose face that I have ever seen Dean pull ever. Thank you once again, Tonya, for having me on this show, by the way. It's hard to believe that it's been almost a year since I started doing these things, and this is show 19.
Well, I've done so many, I lost count at this point.
I think you're over like 25, maybe 30 at this point. But anyway, that's a really cool statistic to see, this happen. And, Dean just had this look on his face like, I can't believe it. I just got out-Deaned by James Ellsworth. Dean got out-Deaned by James Ellsworth. Like from the opening segment of, "Come on, Dean, I want to be in your corner. I want to help you out against this menace known as AJ Styles." And Dean's like, "I don't know, man. You're kind of more crazier than I am." So, I mean, Dean always has this unconventional plan for dealing with AJ, but a monkey wrench was thrown into that plan in the form of Ellsworth getting ahead of himself and going, "Oh, I'm going to fight back against AJ." And then, well, the referee saw you kick AJ in the face with a super kick. And Dean's shocked, and he's waving the referee going, no, don't disqualify. And, like, ref's going, "Hey, he's in your corner. He just did the move. I'm disqualifying you." So now we have a situation in which Dean's going to have to try and find another way of getting a title shot against AJ, although given AJ's recent issues with his temper, it would probably be pretty easy. But this has become a much more interesting feud lately. because it kind of got off to a rocky start the first week with Dean being the referee. Second week, Dean's still doing his Dean antics, and Ellsworth gets another victory over Styles. But this time, the tables have turned. AJ is the man with the plan, and he's starting to figure out a game plan against Ambrose. And Dean doesn't like that because he likes being unpredictable. Wouldn't you say so, Tonya?
Yeah, AJ messing with Ellsworth he knew exactly what he was doing. He knew this goof was gonna get all excited and mess up. And further proof of that is that once it was announced it was a DQ and that Styles won, he had the swarmiest little smirk on his face. It was brilliant. Like, it's a very well booked angle. Like, I still don't care about Ellsworth. So, like, they were talking Smack about how, like, Dean could possibly beat the crap out of Ellsworth. And I'm like, well, they're not going to do that. Because they're so obviously using Ellsworth so that Dean Ambrose can get cheered. Because they're not going to do that.
It's kind of interesting how you said it, because it's almost like that they're using James Ellsworth like they were using Dean to get cheers for Roman. Doesn't that sound interesting?
Well, I mean, see, and that's why you can spot it, because they do it all the time.
Yeah. They try to glom face heat off of one person who's over onto another person that they want to be over. They're trying to get Dean's face heat back, but now Dean is going up against John Cena, who is suddenly getting face cheers for the first time in what seems like forever. And AJ Styles, who the Japanese wrestling fans really, really like. You know, the hardcore people really like AJ Styles. They don't care so much for Dean. The casuals really like Dean, but they also really like John Cena. So now Dean is stuck in a situation where he's on SmackDown and he's not the top babyface anymore.
Here's the thing, though. I've been an AJ Styles fan for going on 10 years now. I know I would consider myself a hardcore fan. So, yeah, I've been an AJ Styles fan for 10 years. So, of course, I'm going to be more readily to cheer AJ than Dean in this situation. Because, like, even though I'm a hardcore fan, I kind of lapsed off. So, I only know Dean, or I knew him first from WWE. What was that, 3 years ago? Almost 4 years ago. Oh my God, Survivor Series makes 4 years. How could I forget that? But anyway, so, and then, you know, I'm used to John Cena. And just to see any little small change in John Cena's character can get him over, as you've seen, because he hasn't really been the same Cena. He had a promo that he did against AJ Styles talking about, you know, how it's not manly to say his feelings, but damn it, he don't care. He loves seeing these kids smile and this and that. And I was like, it's a different twist on what he's always been saying. It's like Cena, but mature Cena. Mature Cena is the shit. He is the bomb. And that's why he's getting cheered. Because it was like, yay, forever. John Cena was that same G.I. Joe action figure that we've played with him for like 7 years, but he never gets any bite marks or scuffs or scrapes. He never changes. So it gets boring. Like, I'm a little girl, I used to play with dolls. After a while, oh, it's pretty. I've curled her hair for the 15th time. Now I'm just going to chop all her hair off and right on her face and tear up her clothes.
Huh, that's a very interesting analogy there.
Well, that's why he's over. And see, the thing about Dean is pretty much every wrestler is that analogy where, like, Shawn Michaels never really changed his gimmick, but he always did like the Madonna or Prince type thing. Like, even though if I'm the same, I'm not going to look the same when I come out. So I'm going to change this and wear that or do this differently now. And you always got to do that. So I think that was the issue people were having with Dean. They were like, evolve, show me something more. We've seen this already. Yay, it's great. That's what Stone Cold was like, basically almost screaming at his face in that interview. And I kind of like this story. It's bringing me back on Dean. I like his promo. I liked everything about that match.
Mm-hmm.
Everything about how it was booked tonight.
Mm-hmm.
That was something different. I thought Dean was going to win. So when it was like, he's finna get DQ, that's another different layer.
To the
And it's different. You don't know really where it's going to go. You can't say for certain now who's going to be the number one contender. Because, like, how else is Dean going to get back in?
Yeah, I mean, thankfully for him, the other number one contenders are kind of busy beating each other up or preparing for the Survivor Series contest.
We spent enough time on that. We got to talk about Randy Orton, who I finally became a fan of, like, how many years now? Just started this year, officially. Randy Orton, maybe a Wyatt, could be a Wyatt, should be a Wyatt. He's okay. Bray Wyatt has a no DQ match against Kane, and of course Luke Harper's going to come out there and assist. So during this match, to me it wasn't anything really special. This match was just a means to get to a storyline, and that's fine. It's TV, it's not a really big deal. So Randy comes out and he looks like he's going to help Kane. And he RKO's Kane and lets Bray Wyatt get the win. Then, when he's questioned about his actions, he said, well, if you can't beat them, join them. So
this was a really, really good match, I thought. For considering the, limitations of Kane, who's really, really old, and Bray Wyatt, who's gone through multiple injuries in his career in the WWE, this was a really good psychology-heavy match. It's understandable that this would be no DQ, given the fact that Kane is associated with the general manager of SmackDown, Daniel Bryan. So it all ties into the story of Kane wants revenge against Bray, but the only way he knows to get revenge is via the no disqualification clause, because he knows that Luke Harper is going to interfere in the match. Also, it was so nice of Bray to give Harper a new shirt for this occasion, because both he and Harper had new shirts on, and apparently the budget of the compound has increased for the shirt budget, because Harper now also has a new tank top on. So Bray obviously is swimming in dough. I mean, he's got that nice new casket, the new clothes for Harper, and now he's got Randy Orton in his corner, apparently. And I thought that this turn it's an interesting turn in the story. Obviously, Orton is trying to still get into Bray's head, and now, Bray is a spirit character that is inhabiting the mind of what was formerly known as Husky Harris. Now, that shocked look on his face, I gotta wonder if that wasn't Husky going, all right, the last time that this happened, he kicked me in the face. And I ended up getting possessed by a demon. Spirit from Florida. So you gotta wonder if the various different personalities in Bray Wyatt's head are going, should we trust this guy or should we not trust this guy? Because he really didn't make our life that good last time. So now Bray has an uncontrollable viper on his side, apparently. And this might lead to a very interesting situation. Is Orton going to become a permanent member of the Wyatt family? Is this just going to be a term for 1 week? Is Harper suddenly going to have his loyalty question going, Boss, well, I've been here with you for a couple of years now. Why are you suddenly trusting this man who has betrayed people in factions before historically? It's suddenly made all four of these individuals very interesting to see where they go with this story. And we talked about that last week. I'm waiting to see how this goes before, we get too much in depth to it, because what this will possibly lead to is a casket match, because Bray brought out a casket last week. We now don't know why or how that's going to happen.
Oh yes. I'm pretty much still waiting to see, but I've enjoyed what I've seen so far. Still quite intrigued. I kind of felt something was gonna happen. It's Randy Orton. I'm not that shocked that he would do something like this. But yeah, I think it's a part of his mind games. But like he said himself, he's gonna pull down in quicksand. Like, is he gonna know when it's time to reach out and pull yourself out of quicksand, or is he gonna go deeper and deeper into his trap and he can't get out?
Yeah, because that's always an issue with Orton, is that he can't seem to shake away from his dark side of his character. It's always been a part of him. It's his way of breaking away from the John Cena mold, from being, Randy Orton, third generation wrestler, to the Viper Randy Orton, which is his dark side.
His
He,
dark side is the best part of him.
mhm. I mean, basically, this entire story is the two biggest predators in this wrestling world are now fighting for dominance against one another to see who will be the king monster of SmackDown. Unfortunately for the boys, that spot is already reserved. And I don't think either of these monsters are capable of taking on the biggest monster in SmackDown right now.
Oh well, listen, that's our main event of the evening. So yeah,
Yes.
uh, we're gonna talk about the filler, and I love it. I appreciate it. But this week, this was absolutely the filler. So let's go over this right quick.
Sure.
Ascension versus Hype Bros. And this was, well, every match, I think most of the matches, every match kind of had stakes. But the Ascension versus the Hype Bros was a pretty standard tag team match. But this match is important because whoever won was going to get on the team with the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, Broody and the Man Beast, to be on the tag team. Uh, how should I put it? Like the Survivor Series tag team. They're going to be on the SmackDown side, I guess. I just still don't understand. They're gonna have 5 tag team, like it's gonna be legit, like 10 people on each side for the match. Or am I confused? Is it gonna just be 2 tag teams?
Well, whatever the case, it will be a very interesting match to see how it unfolds in Survivor Series. But this was actually, I really enjoyed this match. This is the first Ascension match that I've enjoyed in a while, and they didn't do anything. They didn't do any mistakes. They did their spots as naturally as they can do it. And my biggest question was, how did Mojo Rawley find a pair of 80s Zubaz in Green Bay, Wisconsin? What thrift store did he just raid to accomplish this goal?
I mean, he knows football players. He just called one of them.
Although, that pair was far too old to be worn by any of these modern day football players. That was a thrift store find.
He could have known old football players. They got their Z-Bags or whatever they call it. But let's get on to the Miz. It came out with Maurice and the Spirit Squad, and as course, the Miz was starting to cut some hot fire, and here comes Dolph, and I gotta give Dolph, like, I didn't really appreciate Dolph this week, perhaps as much as I should have. I thought he got killed on commentary for the match that was set up with this promo. Like Miz, it was an actual murder. Somebody should have called the police.
Yeah, somebody should call the police.
He made Dolph seem so pathetic, and Dolph, you could tell Dolph didn't know what to say. And Miz has hit his stride like no wrestler I have seen of his caliber. Like a lot of people didn't expect a lot from him. I know they didn't. And
Mhm.
I am so proud that he's been able to craft this character. And he's able to like get this over and have people like when Dolph comes out and challenges him and says, "I'll give you a rematch right now," getting the whole crowd to chant yes, yes, yes to that. Like that's the Miz did a whole bunch of that work to get the crowd to this point to care about this feud. And I just wanted to say he was really good tonight.
Yeah,
But like the tag, they ended up having Heath Slater and Rhino defend their tag team championships cleanly against the Spirit Squad because the Spirit Squad is here for the job. They're
yep.
not gonna win anything serious. So yeah, what did you think?
I thought that this segment was really, really enjoyable. By the way, Tanya, your microphone is fluctuating a little bit there. Uh, anyway, the match between Slater and Rhino was really, really enjoyable. Triggered by the fact that Rhino hates male cheerleaders. Apparently, they don't vote for him. It's a mistake because if you don't vote for Rhino, Rhino is going to gore you. And my favorite part of this segment was the person who stood up to those three was not the Spirit Squad, was not the Miz, was the Mrs. Muscle Maurice. And Heath's trying to go on, why are you hiding behind a lady? Heath, do you understand that that lady is the most dangerous person in that ring? Go ask Zack Ryder's dad what happens when you cross the Mrs. Muscle. Hence, you end up in the infirmary. So the idea of Ziggler getting into a verbal battle with the Miz is hysterical to me because he just was lost the entire time, where the Miz is doing shot after shot, and the thing I didn't like about the match was the fact that commentary kind of distracted from it a little bit, except for the Miz's commentary, whereas Ziggler was just like, oh, Miz, you're a coward. I could beat you with my both hands tied behind my back. So, all these like petty insults that Ziggler was doing just didn't work
Ziggler,
on the Miz.
he was a step from saying, "I know you are, but what am I to the Miz?"
Hmm.
Like you have nothing to think of, bro. Give it up. Just yeah, get up and start arguing with him because you're mad because don't you cannot talk with him. He cannot keep up.
Yeah.
That was sad actually. They need to never do that to Dolph again.
Hmm.
Shame on WWE for that.
Just
Because
have
it,
Mrs. Miz spray him in the face with mace again to keep him from talking.
or no, you can have a promo battle because that's fine.
Yeah, just
But
not a
you please
commentary
don't.
battle.
Yeah, 'cause that's not gonna work for your boy,
Hmm.
the Intercontinental Champion. Okay, let's get to the real main event of the evening, ladies and gentlemen. The real
Hmm.
main event.
Double main
First of
event.
all, yeah, this actually is a double main event because it was just that good. So we're gonna start off with Daniel Bryan, the GM, was backstage with Natalia, and she was lobbying to be the captain of the Women's Survivor Series team. So DB was like, okay, well, if you want it so bad, then you can face Nikki Bella. And if you win, you're the captain, but if you lose, you're off the team. So now we have another match with stakes. And I like the match. I do. I appreciated the fact that Natalia was a freaking bully and it was kind of mat based. Those ladies were wrestling each other and grappling and going for roll ups and this and that. And I also appreciate that Nikki Bella's submissioner is like 100 times better than John. All this time, John Cena was doing his little whatever he does. He was doing it like that. So when Nikki came with the fearless lock, it would look so much better. Isn't he such a great guy?
Oh
He
yeah,
did.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, when Nikki went with the fearless walk, which is basically an improved version of the STF, which
Oh, it's the best one I have seen since Jazz. Legit,
Mhm.
the best one.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really enjoyable way to finish off the match. And of course, as Nikki Bella is celebrating, well, your least favorite wrestler decides to
Listen,
charge in
I was
and
not
do
gonna.
what
Why
she
we gotta
does
wait?
best.
Wait. This segment was about Nikki Bella becoming the captain of the SmackDown women's team for a Survivor Series. This was not about a bargain basement Kardashian wannabe Carmella. Oh no, no, no. She's been watching like binge watching the Real Housewives of New Jersey now, and so now she's gonna be a fake mafioso girlfriend or whatever. Capiche? No, I do not capiche. I want you to go away. Because every time Nikki does something, here she comes. She is pissed that Nikki Bella came and got a bigger pop than her because Nikki Bella's actually a star and she beat her because Nikki's a better wrestler than her. So she has been raining on Nikki's parade ever since. So, but you're the one in the right. I cannot stand this lady. I hope she's eliminated first on the SmackDown women's team. I hope she gets pinned first. I hope she gets pinned Mark Henry style. Like, didn't even see it coming.
You want Nikki, the team captain, to
I
literally
want,
Bella Hammer
no.
Carmella, and she
Okay, ho, so
takes.
listen. This is how I book Carmella getting eliminated from Survivor Series because it's Raw. She starts the match because she's cocky and all, whatever. She's like, first Nikki's going to start, but then she tags herself in. And then Charlotte, who was just waiting for this mess to end, comes and gives her the big boot. And 1, 2, 3, Carmella is eliminated. And then they can have a match.
That sounds like a really good plan there. The match that we were talking, the Nikki Natalia match was a really enjoyable match. Like you said, it had a lot of mat-based moves. There was quick pinfalls, a real sense of urgency that of these two wanting to be the team captain for SmackDown because Natalia wants to be the leader. She's always obsessed about being the leader of the whatever women's division she's a part of. However, she also is extremely greedy and demanding, and she obsesses over that. You know, she did that when she was a part of Beth Phoenix's Divas of Doom stable. So here she comes in and she tries to bully Daniel into letting her be the team captain. And Daniel's like, no, 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 no. There's another person here who wants to be the team captain. And that person is, of course, the queen of strong style, Nikki Bella, who put on another great performance in the ring tonight. You know, being able to carry Natalia to a serviceable match, which has been kind of difficult seeing as Natalia is Natalia. Although Natalia's taunting is still questionable, honestly. And I really did like the end match segment, which was extremely enjoyable, you know, because once again, it showcases that one of the two major blood feuds that's going on in the women's division is still continuing. And Carmella is continuing this her goal of beating up Nikki Bella. I like that she's become so obsessed. I do think that, you know, a comment I made a couple weeks ago on one of these shows where she has a picture of Nikki Bella's face on a dartboard. She most likely owns one of those. And she's throwing knives at it and psyching herself up for how am I going to beat up Nikki Bella today? But sooner or later, Carmella's face is going to be hit with yet another Bella hammer. And now she's got to worry about Nikki Bella's new submission maneuver, which is the Fearless Lock. The most improved STF, as we've said, ever. you know, what's next? Is John Cena going to be doing some kind of move that he's never done before? I'm guessing like one of Nikki's.
Oh, please don't let him start trying to think he can throw some elbows. No, no, just no. That's fine. We're quite all right. Jones just fine the way he is. But yeah, I was so Nikki Bella. After all of that, she's still the captain of the SmackDown Women's team for Survivor Series, and that is a great thing. And our final event for the evening is the WWE SmackDown Women's Champion Becky Lynch, and she was supposed to have a in-ring interview Renee Young, but Alexa Bliss really wasn't having any of that nonsense. And Fizzy, since you love her so much, I'll let you explain this scene.
So basically, Alexa Bliss forces the Katie Couric wannabe out of the ring. And while the Katie Couric wannabe and her boyfriend are busy tarring and feathering Alexa Bliss's car, Alexa gets in the ring to insult Becky Lynch and calling her a coward, that she has a streak of yellow on her back, and all sorts of various different names. Becky, I think, called her a munchkin at one point, which, okay, Becky, you realize at this point that Alexa Bliss is possibly the biggest monster on the SmackDown side of the roster. Calling her short or patting her on the head are the two things that you must not do to the Pixie Hulk. The Pixie Hulk is getting angrier. Every time that Becky allegedly ducks Alexa, Alexa gets madder because she has something of a warrior's sense of honor about these proceedings. She may be a monster, she may be a heel, but she still wants to beat up Becky Lynch. And she has all this confidence and bravado that she can actually do this because she is 5 feet of fury. But Becky is now getting into the mindset of, all right, I have just had about enough of this little tiny tyrant, and I'm going to break her arm. That's what Becky kept trying to say to Alexa, and Alexa was not listening at all. Because she's like, la, 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 I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear that you're about to smash my arm to pieces in this match in Glasgow, Scotland on November 8th. You know? So it was a really, really great back and forth promo segment. Alexa just absolutely destroyed Becky every single time that she tried to mount a comeback. Alexa had another one-liner. I also love the fact she wore a t-shirt that said, sorry, not sorry. And her faces were on point. She forced Renee Young out of the ring, which was enjoyable. I do hope that she's able to find a car wash that is able to get tar and chicken feathers out of the seats, because that's what Renee Young and Dean are going to do, because I don't think Renee Young likes getting insulted like that. But anyway, the final segment was fantastic. Alexa tries to do another sneak attack on Becky Lynch. Becky anticipates it, attacks her, and there is basically this knockout, drag-out fight between the two of them until Becky gets hit in the back. And what it was described earlier is that Becky had a back injury. And Alexa takes advantage of the situation, beats up Becky Lynch, throws her into the ringside barricade, then rolls her back into the ring. And the Pixie Hulk's got a plan. She goes over to the timekeeper's area and takes out this yellow spray can, walks back to the ring, and sprays a yellow stripe down Becky Lynch's back and a little bit into her orange hair, which is going to take a long time to get out of her hair. So she has managed to escalate these stakes massively on the level of Nikki Carmella's endless blood feud. The Pixie Hulk wants Becky Lynch's title, and she will use any means to get that title. All the little confidence boosts in the world. She is riding sky high right now. She believes that on November 8th in Glasgow, Scotland, that the tiny tyrant will defeat the Irish master of puns in her hometown. And I'm really looking forward to this match. That's how you build stakes. You don't send evil Santa Claus's herald out to explain stakes.
Wait, no, not yet. Not
Not
yet.
yet?
No.
Okay.
No. That deserves its own. Don't let that touch with what's going on SmackDown. Don't even, let's not expose that. That baby ain't had all their shots. Let's not bring it over here to SmackDown. No, keep the raw baby over there. Listen, I'm so proud of Alexa Bliss. Like Becky, I don't know, she kind of fell flat for me. I might have to go back and rewatch it again to fully critique Becky's performance, because I was captivated by Alexa Bliss from the time she first came out. Really don't care. Mark for Alexa Bliss, well, you should be too. She's gonna find you and treat you the same way she treated Becky Lynch tonight. People keep like they don't believe what I'm saying. She will beat you up. I don't know how many times I have to tell you this. Alexa Bliss got a mean streak, a mile long. Nobody in the company comes to it. They can't touch it. If the Undertaker is standing across the ring from Alexa Bliss, the Undertaker needs to be worried. Worried. You understand me? I am not understanding this woman whatsoever. She's fantastic. And I loved it. And Alexa earned the feature for SmackDown this week. Don't really care what anyone thinks about it. This was great. Like the rest of the show, everything was well done. Everything was well written. But this one thing in the show, because I've been waiting for it to take it to this level. Nikki and Carmella's been at this level, but I've been waiting. And it was just words. There was no physicality. But boy, they made up for that tonight in a very good way. It's not original whatsoever, but the way Alexa executed it was fantastic. It's fantastic work. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, like we said before, Alexa Bliss is not Harley Quinn. Alexa Bliss is Bane, and she proved that by taking out Becky Lynch's back. Wait a minute, we said that last week.
Yes, we did.
Oh my god.
You don't have to believe me.
Yeah. Psychic powers.
I believe it. I said I don't want to see her in the dark alley. I'm going the other way. Ooh, and Lord, if she spot me, I'm just gonna play nice so I can make an escape.
Yeah. Braun Strowman flees away from Alexa Bliss.
He should. He didn't know by now. He should. That young lady's going places.
Yeah.
And I don't know if she's gonna win the title. Probably shouldn't put it on her yet. Probably shouldn't involve her yet. But goddamn it, if anybody maximized their minutes this whole week, it was Miss Bliss tonight. Good gracious alive.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind if she won the title in Glasgow, but you need faces to go over at this point because, you know, they're starved for faces. But Alexa should get a run at some point, and we'll see where this goes because they just, you know, they always talk about how, you know, you raise the stakes of a feud. A lot of times it doesn't feel like that to me where they raise the stakes in the feud. This one, no, they raised it like about times 50. Becky now has a reason to go after Alexa, and Alexa has every reason in the world to take that shiny thing away from Becky Lynch. It's wonderful in its simplicity and how it was so executed perfectly. I mean, I'm so looking forward to this match. And the best part is that it was a person that nobody expected would be remotely in this position. And I remember when they did the draft and they did that interview with Alexa, and she said the words, "Nobody has seen Alexa Bliss." And she went from being her real life persona to the Pixie Hulk in less than 3 seconds. Twist of a face, tilting of her head, going from sweet, kind Lexi Kaufman to monstrous, destructive Pixie Hulk. It was like that in 3 seconds flat. And she meant it. Every single time that she has been on stage, she has knocked it out of the park in terms of character and promos. Give Alexa Bliss a live mic, and she will put on a performance as good, if not better, than The Miz, who is killing it right now in terms of promos. I mean, SmackDown has got every single good talker on their roster right now. And that's what they're proving at this point, is that you don't necessarily need the best wrestlers to have a great show. You need people who will draw you into the story, people who are capable of drawing in the audience. And the audience is listening to what SmackDown is doing right now. And that's so cool to see.
As opposed to the other show, which we're going to take, get into the home stretch. Might as well talk about the abomination that was Raw. First, I'm just going to, Hell in a Cell is this Sunday, so we'll just do predictions first. There are 3 main events, apparently. And the first one is for the United States Championship, Roman Reigns versus Rusev. I am picking Roman Reigns because I have to. It's legally binding, like when you sign the contract for the Empire. If you don't, like, they take away points. But who do you have?
The Cell?
Yeah, Roman and Rusev.
Let me think here. I would have to go Roman because Rusev probably is going to be going into a different direction after this feud, which doesn't necessarily feel like a feud. It just feels like, they really just should have just double-checked their wedding invitations to make sure that Mr. Roman Reigns was invited to the wedding, because there's not much of a story here apart from the fact that Rusev wants to crush, Roman wants this shiny thing, and there's a cell involved.
This is stupid. It could have been a story. It started because the Olympics were around and Rusev had just beat Mark Henry, and he was talking shit about American athletes. And who has been in this company, who's been an athlete in America all his life? Like, sometimes the simplest, straightest route is the route you want to freaking go. Like, seriously. And you don't make it USA versus them. You make it, look, dude, you're just a scummy person because you're discriminating against anyone because of where they live. And you don't make sure you don't discriminate against the foreigner and where they live. Make jokes about him. Call his wife a mail order bride. And all the various types of stupid shit. The only thing that I agree with is how it's been booked, that Roman has pretty much geeked him out. Because Roman won the first one. And I'm sorry, don't want Roman to be losing matches so that Rusev can get built up. Sorry, nope. Don't want to do it. Don't want to do it. Sorry about it, but not really. Like, he was utterly destroyed coming to Roman. So it ain't Roman's responsibility to get everybody like credibility if he beat. No, Rusev don't deserve it. He had to earn it. I'm sorry. Fuck that shit. No. Rusev should not win this match anyway. The next championship match in the Hell in a Cell, because all 3 of them are championship matches, is the Raw WWE. I said that backwards. WWE Raw Women's Championship. And you could just tell how I'm so looking forward to this historic history of the history-making
groundbreaking
Hell in a Cell, history-making. Did I mention that they are making history? Mick Foley cares about it. He's gonna come and explain to you why you should care about it. Look at him. Look at him. No, seriously, look at Mick Foley. Get him the fuck off TV. I love him to death. I love him to death. It has nothing to do with his physical looks. But like, if you gonna show the man getting thrown down off Hell in a Cell, like, yeah. So don't give him your stupid ass scripts to remember and try him out there to be the face of your failure. That's and that's what he is right now. They're booking him. It's like, why? It makes no sense to me whatsoever to book them in a match and say they deserve it. They deserve to make history. And then they're signing the contracts and they're like, well, I'm ready to make history. And now you're trying to talk me out of it? Really? That's like giving somebody a pill and then after they swallow it, then telling them what the side effects of the pill are going to be. Well, wait a minute. No. Don't you think you should have had told me it was going to draw my arm up to where I can't move it before I swallowed it? Don't you think? No, it's utter crap what they're doing to the women. And the third Hell in a Cell match is it Chris Jericho versus The List for the Hell in a Cell match? I got The List. He's going to be the new Universal Champion.
I mean, the list is the most over person in this feud, and it's his
babyface run has been inspirational. I'm going to tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
So I got The List. I think that's probably going to be the best Hell in a Cell match. It's going to be the main event. You know, Chris Jericho going to come out there and put the young guy over, as he always does. And The List, you know, he's only been on the roster for like a short amount of time. But like, the crowds love him. He's over. Why not? Just put the title on him.
I mean,
the next match, the next match is the WWE Tag Team Championship. The New Day versus Cesaro and Sheamus. And I'm picking the New Day. Who are you picking for that tag team match?
Well, let's see here. We actually got a few matches here to pick over first. Charlotte versus Sasha Banks. Probably going to be going with Sasha. Just
you
because...
actually care? They're making history. It doesn't matter who wins.
I care who wins. I don't listen to the advice from someone who's represented by Santa, the most evilest force that has somehow displaced Vince McMahon in terms of the hierarchy of evil. So Santa's herald is talking all he wants about history, but I just don't care. I'm going like, okay, well, who's going to win this match? I don't care who makes history. It's just, I just want to see these two in one piece after this Hell in a Cell match.
Especially since they've made their feud about history, and that's it. Somebody just walked in and put history. Like, how are we going to book Sasha versus Charlotte, Hell in a Cell? Somebody put history on a whiteboard and just walked out the room. They're like, okay, guess we're booking it because they're breaking history.
Sounds more to me like a deranged history teacher somehow managed to get into the Raw's writer's room, had a mental breakdown, and just suddenly wrote, all history and no play makes history teacher go insane.
No, that's not why. I can't pick that match because, like, the whole booking of all the women on Raw, even with Bayley and Dana, they deserve better than that too.
Mm-hmm. They decided to do a classical arm wrestling match, apparently, from what I heard.
Yeah, nobody want to see that. But like, seriously, you can pick for the other two Hell in a Cell matches, but to me it doesn't matter. I said I'm picking actually The List to become Universal Championship. That's my actual pick for the third Hell in a Cell match.
Of course, I mean, go with the inanimate object. I mean, they've failed to push the inanimate objects before. I mean, ADR's Mexican flag bucket had a really strong run going until they decided to replace him with RVD of all people. I'm still sore about that.
The cold fish from last year, Rusev's cold fish.
Yeah.
Super over. Never got a push. Never. So The List is representing for like everybody right now.
Yeah.
All it is now is the Plant. Yes, Mitch. Everybody. Yeah. So, no, seriously, with the women, I am upset, but I hope Sasha wins. I hope they put on a good match at least.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see where it goes because that's the thing with these pay-per-views is that you don't know where exactly it's gonna go. You know, the writing might be bad for most of Raw, but then the pay-per-view shows up and it turns out to be a decent show. And anyway, you were saying the tag division. Oh well,
Yeah, New
that's a
Day versus
toss-up.
yeah. I'm gonna go New Day because I don't know. It's history for them too, so they got history to make. While we're all making history, it's the history of history. So I'm gonna
Uh-huh.
go.
Oh God, we're gonna make so many history teachers go insane on this show. I mean, because the question is Cesaro going to be renewing his contract with WWE? If they lose, it's likely he might be gone.
No, okay. Well, that's a possibility.
Mhm.
I did not know that. That sucks, man.
I mean, I think his contract's up at the end of the year. I'm not exactly 100% sure, but the work.
So, do you mean he could still be like him and Sheamus kind of get on the Survivor Series tag team? Because they're the only team I remotely care about on Raw at the moment. Let me think. Yep.
Mhm,
Although Enzo and Cass did something cool this past Monday, but yeah,
mhm.
I don't really care about. They have a little story going there. I want to see what happens with them.
Yeah,
But
it's
what's the next
very.
match
The
for?
next match would be a non-title match, actually. Enzo and Cass versus the Club.
I mean, when you put people together who you never have go over people, how am I supposed to pick? Both of them lose. Double count out.
Probably. I'm picking Enzo and Cass to go over, and then the Club to attack them after the match. That's probably what's going to happen. And then you also have Bailey versus Dana Brooke, which will be a likely match. That match will probably end in no contest after Nia Jax destroys both of them. Because we haven't seen her on TV in a few weeks, and that means the monster heel is going to come out and destroy both competitors.
Like that's the best thing for her. The more she can be off TV and come in and be like special and shiny and brand new, because I hear WWE likes when you can come in to be special, like Brock. You know, you come in every week. No, you're not special. You're not shiny. We don't know what to do with you.
They,
We're just gonna make history with you.
yeah. So they thought that Brock Lesnar wouldn't get cheered in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
You know what? I don't even care. I think it was. I think that's another situation like with the women. It's like backstage politics. Like who the fuck didn't know Brock Lesnar was gonna get cheered in Minneapolis? That's the dumbest shit ever, and Vince knows better than that. If he doesn't, somebody needs to look at his health mentally, seriously. If you don't know that this man who's beloved is beloved in his home state and you're not going to get him to boo over Goldberg of all people, Goldberg of all people, they be skeptical to like cheer Daniel Bryan. They wouldn't know what the hell to do. Minneapolis, because they really love him some Brock Lesnar. They really love him. Like, really.
I,
And
I,
it's laughable. The few people out there, you know what they should have did like WCW did and just started piping in Goldberg chants. That's what they should have done. That would have made that segment a whole lot better.
I mean, do they even know how to do that anymore? I mean, I know that they know how to pipe in cheers and boos, but like,
Yeah, they know how.
mhm. I mean, but like as you were saying, like I'm pretty sure people have done analysis on Vince McMahon's mental health. And if you're wondering why there are so many human-shaped holes in the walls at Titan Towers, then there's your answer.
I'm saying, but as a businessman, for you to not know that one of your quote unquote main event attractions isn't going to get booed like an inch. And people were like, well, there I heard some Goldberg cheers. I would dollars to donuts. Those were plants that were trying to get that started. I'm dead serious. Who else? Who's gonna do that? Why would
Crazy
you?
people.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Also, we have.
The whole show was garbage. The whole
Mhm.
show. They got a sparkle. Like I'm going off the cuff pretty much because it's what I watched was ridiculous. That's supposed to be a go home show. Ridiculous.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like to me a very good go home show. Also, we have. I almost forgot about the cruiserweights. So Brian Kendrick and T.J. Perkins are going to have another match.
And it would be interested if T.J. Perkins was at any good whatsoever at that talking. He's not good. And like what irritates me is that he's kind of talking to Brian Kendrick like he's the mentor, he's the older one. Like I just wanted Brian Kendrick to just shank him. Just shank him and take the title like it's mine now. You have to beat me for it.
After you get out of the infirmary from the multiple stab wounds I just inflicted upon you.
The Brian Kendrick is good, but TJ Perkins needs work.
Video games, man. What ups?
He comes off as being like a little bit condescending to Brian Kendrick. When it took you 18 years to get here too, buddy. Don't just like don't just get all cocky because you got a purple belt all of a sudden.
And a video game entrance. And one ups. And lives. And extra mega
Yeah.
power things.
And somebody made a good point to me. Like they they said that none of his offense targets anybody's legs or anything like that. I'm not really familiar with him, so maybe he did used to do that, but he is like the way they structure his matches is so off. It is that's another thing. You bring the cruiserweights, and then they're obviously not being cruiserweights. They're out there wrestling normal matches. Like if you got a luchador, as Kalisto says, let him go do lucha things, please, because they ain't getting over no other way. Not on that show.
Well, they could all be like. So apparently, if you saw pigs flying in the sky yesterday, folks, that's because apparently Reddit has turned on Seth Rollins. Finally.
God.
Oh my god. Apparently they don't like him being a superface and pinning
You
both
know what?
Owens
They,
and
I actually, book somebody strong for a change, but nah, they should tell the truth of why they don't like him. Because he's doing the exact same shit. I'm so glad Roman didn't have to go out there and for 2 weeks in a row put up some sparkle crotch shit. I'm glad he ain't got that on his resume. So good looking out, Seth. Heaven, keep doing this. Keep running him with the Lord. Really, really.
oh my god. Still that is still a horrific insult at just many of the many bad promos that Seth Rollins has put on in his cuff illustrious career.
Like if you just not turning on Seth Rollins, I feel like you late for the party. And like if we could let you in, but like you got every building they got like a capacity code. We don't want the fire marshal to come shut us down, so we have no more room in the
Right.
turn on Seth Rollins building. Sorry, you got to keep liking him.
I mean, unless you bring in free pizza and RC Cole, in which case we'll bring you in
No,
anyway.
we just take the pizza and Nicola. No, he's a genius. He keep doing what he's doing all the way to Mania. God, time face Seth Rollins. You have no idea. Sparkle crotch. They need to come out with a sparkle crotch T-shirt just so I can buy it, just so we can keep pushing it.
God.
Seth Sparkle Crotch Rollins.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they already have a T-shirt out for the List of Jericho.
I'm pulling for that list, man. I'm telling you, he's gonna be the new Universal Champion, and I really feel like the list with the way he's working right now, he could really sell the value and importance of the Universal title. Because the list doesn't really care about Triple H. Triple H is probably number one on that damn list if you want to keep it real. So he ain't worried about, am I impressing Triple H? He just want to be champion. And that's a face we can all get behind.
Sure, and the only thing that Triple H is focusing on right now is one, celebrating his wife's anniversary of their marriage, and two, planning on how he's going to pedigree Seth Rollins all the way to Tahiti.
Oh, you mean when he comes back, like, right when Monday Night Football is over?
Uh, he tends to have a habit of coming in around Monday Night Football, so he's thinking about challenging them, because the typical Triple H thing is that he typically tends to be dominant in football season. Unless, of course, he gets injured.
I'm talking about part-time Triple H. He ain't got time to be here right now. Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, they just signed a bunch of new people to the Performance Center, so they did that photo op, and so
Yeah,
he's busy with
He
that.
got Mark photo ops. He got all that stuff to take.
Mm-hmm.
Triple H is a busy man. He cannot possibly take the 10 to 15 steps it will require him to leave Gorilla and come out to the actual Raw stage to explain why he turned on Seth Rollins. He could not possibly do that. You have any more thoughts on SmackDown or Raw before we get up out of here?
I mean, right now, Raw is sort of in this. Kind of reminds me of the movie The Wizard of Oz. They're still in the tornado. They haven't even landed on top of the Wicked Witch of the East yet. And SmackDown has got so much really good narrative and story going on right now. It's enjoyable to watch, whereas Raw, I enjoy it for the chaos. I really like the reason I watch Raw on occasion is I enjoy it for the chaos and the insanity that of these people will come up with, and it really is becoming like a WCW show, like some of these people have said. Although, considering how many agents are ex-WCW wrestlers, that's not really much of a surprise to me, at least. But I'm really looking forward now to Becky versus Alexa. I'm looking forward still to Nikki Bella and Carmella's blood feud. The AJ Styles Dean Ambrose feud has gotten a lot more interesting now. Always looking forward to the return of John Cena into the main event scene, and wondering how the teams are going to coexist on these Survivor Series teams, because Survivor Series is starting to look like a really good show. At least on the SmackDown side of things. I don't know how Santa's Evil Herald is going to mess things up on the Raw side, but knowing Mick Foley and his insanity, it's most likely going to be epic. Epically good or epically bad, depending on who you ask.
Well, all I predict is that SmackDown is going to make sense leading up to Survivor Series.
And
I just don't know what to say. I could have said a whole lot more. I kind of went sarcastic with my anger because everything I want to say, I'm not sure it's the truth. So I just want to put a cap on it. But to me, the book, it seems like there's people actively trying to hurt the work that Sasha Banks and Charlotte could do. It's ridiculous. Like I said, that's the most dignified blood feud I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they could constantly compliment one another. I'm thinking to myself, when are we going to get the Four Horsewomen?
They've not brought at all since that match was signed. Not 1 inch, not one bit. And that's one of the things that pissed me off. Charlotte gets plenty of time to explain why she thinks she's the queen, this and that. Sasha Banks gets PR promos. She's never fully explained why she does not like Charlotte. She hasn't. It's been schizophrenic and all over the place, and it's being done on purpose. I was excited for this match before I watched Raw, so I don't think I should have watched Raw. And they are so lucky my favorite wrestler is on that show. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
So
I mean, like I said last week, all it takes is for a few people to say some things to one person, and that person will suddenly turn incredibly vindictive against the very thing that he loves. And that's what I think Mick Foley did on Raw, is that he decided that he needed to prove a point, and
Mick Foley
that's.
don't book the show.
I know he doesn't book the show, but
Foley don't book
still,
the show.
he's
Mick
the
Foley
guy
don't
with the
have no
money.
stroke. They are, yeah, he exactly. He's the guy that they wrote those stupid lines for and tried him out on TV and put him there. So okay, let's focus on Mick Foley and let's not focus on the fact that we just completely screwed both of these women and their storyline heading into the first female Hell in a Cell match. It's ridiculous. It's shameful. They ought to be ashamed of themselves. They ought to be goddamn ashamed of themselves. I'm sorry. I got to go do the review.
Hmm.
So I'll see everybody next week. Hopefully Andrew will be here. I don't know. Hey, baseball keeps taking him away from me.
Yep.
But if not, then I'll ask Fizzy to join me again.
Yep.
I'm still pissed off.
Yeah. Go enjoy your review, Tonya. Thanks so much, all of you, for joining us on this edition of Live After SmackDown Live. We hope to see you again next time. Hopefully, Swift will be back from his baseball pilgrimage and not be too upset if the Indians lose and the Cubs win. But I'm going to stay as neutral as possible on this because I have friends on both sides of the team. So, yeah.
And there's no need to watch shoot sports in my life. None of them. Goodbye, people.